Welcome back. It's been a while, everybody, and we're here again at the Cryptoviser podcast right here on YouTube. A lot of people have been asking Cryptoviser, where have you been? Listen, guys, we've been uploading since 2018, literally every single day since 2018. I think we missed like 1 or 2 days in that entire time. And basically, last year in 2024, we were, right past the Bitcoin halving cycle when the Bitcoin halving occurred. And, I kind of said, let's take some time off from the channel. Let's kind of refocus. The bull run is here. A lot has been going on. And so in today's video, we're going to kind of wrap up what's been going on over the last 6 months, kind of where I see the markets and currently where I see the markets are going in the next few months, because I don't think the bull run is over yet. But let's be clear, guys, we're already in 2025. We're already basically almost a year since the Bitcoin halving cycle. And as I've explained on my previous videos in 2023, 2024, that you're not going to realize that you're in the bull market. Like I still am watching videos and following, YouTubers and other people who follow crypto, and they're saying, oh, when the bull market's here, it's like, wait. Bitcoin's at $100,000, right? It's gone up 5x since $20,000 in the bear market. Solana is at $200. It's up basically 10 or 20x since the FTX lows when it was at $8. So we're already in the bull market. I just think that a lot of what is going on in this market is very different than what we've seen during previous cycles. And we're going to kind of walk through that here today. But before we go there, let's kind of talk about what's been going on in the overall financial markets, because this is very important to understand, right? I mean, we literally have Doge being discussed. I mean, if I'm watching Bloomberg, they're talking about Doge, and we have, Congress people saying Doge. And obviously, this is kind of like, a joke, but at the end of the day, Elon is heading up Doge, and Doge is a meme coin or fun coin or whatever you want to call it that Elon Musk has always backed, really. And there's potential that we're going to see some movement in the Dogecoin ecosystem, whether things get put on the blockchain or not. Obviously, a lot of these things are going to take a long time, but now we have a crypto-friendly president, we have a crypto czar, and we have a friendlier, I guess, SEC towards the crypto space as well as the treasury. So I do think things are going to happen, but I think that a lot of what we are seeing in crypto over the last few years, especially if you've been following for much longer than, just a few years or just in the bull run, is that Bitcoin and crypto, the cycles that we used to see, where we're going to see 20x's, 30x's, 100x's in cryptos, a lot of this is over, right? And think about Bitcoin, right? For Bitcoin to go to 100x, that would be what, $10 million? This is going to take quite a long time. Plus, we have to remember, back in 2024, the Bitcoin ETF started to get approved. And now all of the ETF issuers are trying to get approved for every crypto imaginable. Now, whether they do get these ETFs approved or not, I don't know. But remember, the markets are controlled by Wall Street. Now, let me show you an example of this. Now, if you look at, this is from Far Side Investors, and basically, okay, here we go. Basically, you can see the flows in and out of the Bitcoin ETFs. And you can see end of January 2025, right? $457 million worth of Bitcoin was removed from the Bitcoin ETFs, meaning selling pressure. And again, this is not even including what's going on with MicroStrategy and El Salvador buying massive quantities of crypto. This is literally just the ETF issuers. So, and we're not even in like high volume era when I'm recording this video, right? This is in February 2025. A lot of the markets, including Bitcoin mining stocks and cryptos, the volume is much lower than it is what it was when we were in the up only phase of the market. But remember what I told you guys previously, the ETF issuers, namely BlackRock, Fidelity, they are the ones who are in control of these markets. And basically, they just by buying or selling the massive quantities that they do on a daily or weekly basis, this can cause massive moves in the market. So while you see MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin, you're like, wait, why is the price of Bitcoin going down? You also have to look at what the ETF issuers are doing, what other private funds are doing. I think that there's a lot more in that kind of realm of investing to understand, to really get where kind of the market is and why the market is not necessarily moving in the way that many people believe that it would be. So that's kind of like bringing everything back up to speed, right? I do think that there's going to be a lot that's going to be happening in 2025 when either they create a Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve, which may or may not happen, whether they create cryptocurrency rules and regulations or laws, that may or may not happen. But that doesn't mean that the speculation around all of this is not going to cause the markets to go higher. But kind of where we're at right now is kind of the markets have been in the downward trend since basically November, right? In the middle of November, this is when the markets really were pumped to the height, and this is around the time of the year that we normally have seen during previous cycles, the price of Bitcoin and many altcoins going much higher. But since then, many altcoins have come down, some to the tune of 50% or 60%. And so we're kind of like wavering right now. But where we are in the beginning of 2025, I don't know when exactly we're going to see the markets move, right? Obviously, the national debt is continuing to rise, even with the Doge efforts. We're also seeing some of the traditional financial markets kind of wavering. We're seeing the reverse repo operations basically ending, and during the that's from the Federal Reserve. We can pull that up on a separate video if you guys want me to go a little bit more in depth about that. But also, not just the reverse repos are ending. We're starting to see little spikes here and there in the repo operations. And the reverse repo operations, the repo operations from the Federal Reserve, is basically overnight lending and pumping liquidity into the markets. The next major catalyst I see is in the middle of March, is when the federal budget is supposed to be approved. And if they don't do that, obviously we have the government shutdown, and this can cause a lot of uncertainty. But if they do approve a budget, which is already being spoken about, this is basically another way of meaning print more money, right? They may not print as much as they have previously, especially during the 2020 year, but I do think that we're going to see more money printing at or around that date. But until then, we may go down further in the markets. I mean, the Federal Reserve has said they may not lower rates this year. They're only going to do it once this year. And this is what everybody's hoping and anticipating. But keep in mind, the Federal Reserve saying we're going to cut rates, the markets speculate on that. But even if they don't cut rates, the market, I think, is still going to go higher. It's just a matter of when, how high, and you know what areas of the market are actually going to go up. Because I mean, Solana has outperformed pretty much every other crypto here. XRP has pumped significantly. And again, XRP went from 50 cents or 40 cents or 30 cents, whatever it was, to $2, $3, right? At 10x already. And I'm seeing people saying, oh, well, XRP is going to hit $100. XRP is going to hit $50. And it's like, we already 10x'd, right? We already 10x'd. I'm not saying that we can't 10x again, but then to 100x from here or 50x from here, where is the liquidity coming from? I think that a lot of the anticipation, right? We saw the initial Trump pump happen in November. That's when all the markets went higher. And since then, kind of things slowed down. I think that it's going to take a lot longer than most people are anticipating. But that doesn't mean there's not areas and ways to make money in the market. And again, not just the crypto markets. We can also look at crypto derivatives in the stock market, like MicroStrategy, right? What's happening and what's going to happen with MicroStrategy, I'm not exactly sure. The thing to keep in mind about MicroStrategy is that MicroStrategy is one of these coins or one of these stocks where they just approved an increase of about like 30x to their number of shares. And they're going to be selling these shares on the market to then raise money to buy more Bitcoin. So essentially, they're diluting their own their stock to keep buying more Bitcoin. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't know. But we can also look at the Bitcoin mining stocks like Riot Platforms, like Bitfarms, like Marathon TerraWolf. Some of these we've talked about Core Scientific for years on this channel. And some of these have done extremely well. Some of them have underperformed. And, where are they going to go? I don't know. But a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies, you also have to keep in mind, a lot of them have been pivoting to AI as well as just Bitcoin mining, because they see their infrastructure for Bitcoin mining can also be used for AI compute. And there's a huge demand for that. And we're seeing a lot more push for US based data centers and AI processing compute facilities. And these can also kind of tie in with the Bitcoin mining space. So this is something to look at as well, besides just looking at the cryptocurrency ecosystem for making money to better diversify portfolios. Now, again, none of what I'm saying is financial advice. These are just my opinions, my thoughts on the matter. Kind of wrapping up the last year since we really uploaded on this channel. Right? Again, many altcoins have pumped 10x and then retraced to where they were. If we look at some coins, Ethereum still has not, surpassed its previous all-time record high. And a lot of people, I mean, the last record high was $4,000. We haven't even got to $4,000. No, are we going to? Possibly, but maybe not. I really don't know. I think the more people are saying that we're never, like, Ethereum's done and it's gone, I think the more likely we're going to see at some point a drain from Solana and some of these other coins, maybe XRP as well, and then more of a pump into Ethereum. The market just hasn't rotated yet. And the kind of the way that I look at a lot of these cryptos and stocks is the longer they're suppressed and the underlying fundamentals are still there, the higher it's going to go, right? The harder the coil is getting pushed down on the spring. And so how high is it going to go? I mean, potentially much, much higher. We're going to go through some of the charting in just a few minutes, but I really wanted to kind of focus on this because Ethereum has a lot built on it, right? If you go to DeFi Llama, you could still see the number one chain by far is Ethereum. A lot of built on it, a lot of the, the the Trump World Liberty Finance, I believe that's what it's called. They're buying massive quantities of Ethereum and Ethereum-based coins. Why are they doing that? I mean, I would imagine they're doing that because they're building or they understand what is going to occur from a regulatory standpoint with Ethereum. It's kind of like when Congress people are trading the markets. Like, people follow those trades exactly because there's obviously some insider stuff going on. And so when we're looking at Ethereum, we also have to look at Polygon. This is one that I've been watching extremely close because I believe it's highly undervalued, right? 30 cents. This is multi-year lows. And so during previous cycles, when we saw coins like XRP or Cardano from their low, this is from the 2020 cycle, from their cycle low to their cycle high was 100x. And so Polygon currently is around 30 cents is the low, maybe like 28, 29 cents. 10x from there is $3, which is the previous all-time record high. 100x would be $30. Now, will we get to $30? Maybe, maybe not, but $10 sounds a little bit more likely, especially understanding what Polygon has already built on it, all the integrations built within it. And then if you look at some of these other coins, including this coin right here, Mantle, ICP, Aptos, Aave, I like a lot of these projects, but to think that Polygon is below them in market cap, in valuation, it just doesn't make sense. Now, even if you just forget all the other coins and don't compare them, even if you just look at Polygon's market cap, 2.7 billion, and maybe a little bit higher because I don't think it converted all the Matic to Polygon or whatever, but it's around $3 billion. Okay, Ethereum and Polygon, by the way, is I believe, the most built up layer 2 outside of Ethereum. Ethereum is $322 billion market cap, which means that Polygon currently is about 1% of the market cap of Ethereum. And it's the largest layer 2 with the most built on top of it outside of Ethereum in the entire crypto space. So these are the things that I'm looking at, the real fundamentals of the market, because at the end of the day, when these big companies and the big money is looking to flow, people are like, oh, well, we're going to have an ETF for this coin, we're going to have an ETF for this coin. It's like, okay, but If you look at Grayscale, Grayscale has a lot of funds, and a lot of these funds have been around for a long time in different cryptocurrencies, including like Decentraland and stuff like that. And they have almost nothing in these funds because nobody really wants to invest in those. So just because they have an ETF doesn't mean that the big money is coming. The big money is going to come to the cryptos or to the ETFs with the underlying crypto that have the most actual use cases, because it's all going to go back to the use case. What value do these chains bring? And a lot of what I've been doing over the last year is trying to figure it out, right? Not really moving in and out of coins that often. If I was in Solana, I would have already sold. If I was in XRP, I probably would have already sold. Maybe not all of the coin, but a large majority, because there will be a pullback. And to think that there's not going to be a pullback in these coins that pump 10x or 20x or 30x when some of these coins haven't pumped anywhere, that's not what the smart money is doing. The smart money, the traders in the market, the speculators in the market, when these coins are 10xing or 20xing, they're pulling their money out and they're rotating into coins that haven't 10 or 20x. And so all of these like large um, influencers and the Raoul Pals of the world that are saying, oh, well, Solana's the number one. At some point during the cycle, they're going to sell all of their Solana and flip it into Ethereum or whatever other coin. They did it during previous cycles. They're going to do it during this cycle. What else do we need to talk about? I have notes here. Again, going back to the World Liberty Finance, the Trump portfolio, right? They're buying Ethereum and Ethereum-based coins. Aave went from $80 to $350 just based on the news that World Liberty Finance was buying. Would you sell at that point, or would you buy more? Well, let's see. Let's actually see where Aave is right now. 3.7 billion, $247. Again, it was at $80 during the last cycle. Let's pull up the 1-year chart, and you guys can see right here. Yeah, $80 in June of last year when we stopped recording for the channel, and it went up to, at a peak here, $300, $400, right? And you can see big drop since then. Is it going to go back higher? Probably. But again, if there's no profit taking at all going on in one's portfolio, you have to ask, like, what are you in these coins for? Because there will be a point, and we may already be there, where we're in a bear market for another 4 years. Hopefully, we have one more pump, and that's kind of where the convo is being brought right now on this channel, right? I believe the next pump, whether it happens in February, in March, in April, in May, whenever it happens, I believe this is going to be the final pump of the cycle. Now, we may have other pumps after it, but I think that this will be the final pump of the cycle. Now, if we look at the 1-year chart, right, what you can see here is last year, right, in 2024, a big move at the beginning of the year in February and March, and then kind of sideways trading until the end of the year. And then since then, it kind of almost looks double topish over here. And I've been reading a lot of traders writing about, head and shoulders patterns and the like. Now, if we go back to 2020, um, there's some notes on here from other videos that we did. So if we go back to 2020, to me, the market looks less like 2020 and 2021, because if you look in 2020, the market kind of smoothly moved up towards the end of 2020. And then in 2021, the market was kind of sideways trading in December, and then it started moving up at the end of December, and then into January, had a little bit of a correction at the end of January over here, and then it went up in February into March, and then we had a little bit of a correction. We haven't seen this happen just yet. Now, again, I'm recording this in the middle of February 2025, so the end of February and into March, maybe we're going to see higher moves. But to me, the actual charting of this cycle looks more similar to 2017. And let me explain why. Remember, 2017 was 1 year after the halving. 2021 was 1 year after the halving. So we have to look at where we are now when we're approaching the 1 year after the halving. And so if you look here in 2017, at least at the beginning of the year in 2017, where are we? Yeah, right here. You can see that in December, we had a little bit of a spike into January. We had a pullback into the middle of January, kind of sideways trading into February. And then you see a little bit of a jump at the end of February. Nothing major, right? This wasn't the major move at the beginning of the year like we saw in 2021. We saw most of the move after the March bottom, right, in 2017. And then the market kind of just basically went up from March of 2017 all the way till the end of 2017. And to me, the charting from 2017 looks more similar to where we are than the chart from 2021. And so what that says to me is we'll probably see potentially more downside into the middle of March. Again, that's when the debt ceiling or the budget for the US needs to be passed by before there's a government shutdown. And so once they pass that legislation or pass the budget, it's basically the check was written and the money is going to be printed. And then the up only can happen through the end of the year. And combine that with, potentially more positive regulatory environment and maybe even some actual rules on the book. What is crypto? Who regulates it? What can be done with it, etc. This can accelerate the market to basically just the middle 2 quarters of the year just see up only. That's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. Could be wrong. I'd love to hear your opinions on that in the comments down below. But yeah, I do think that the next pump, whether it's like what we just showed you, where the pump goes for several months, or we just have a pump like we saw in 2021 in March and April, I think this next pump is the last pump of the cycle. And going back to what we talked about earlier, where people are still saying, "Oh well, you know, once we get in the bull run, like we like these coins having 10x already." That mentality tells me that people don't think that we're in the bull run, that we're not towards the end of the bull run, that we're not already halfway through the bull run. And that tells me this next pump, whenever it comes, this is the pump to sell into. It doesn't mean that you can't trade afterwards, but based on what we just talked about, that's what it looks like. And remember, Wall Street is in control of these markets, right? And the more ETFs that get approved, people are gonna say it's super bullish. But as we saw with the Bitcoin ETFs, just because the Bitcoin ETFs got approved and they were buying, it didn't mean immediately the price was gonna go up. And the same thing we're seeing now with MicroStrategy, now rebranded to Strategy, right? They're buying billions and billions and billions of Bitcoin. But we're not seeing an immediate move in the markets. But eventually there will be. Where all the liquidity for the MicroStrategy purchases are coming from, I have no idea. A lot of it could be coming from these ETFs, but you have to ask yourself, like, why is $500 million coming out of the market on one day, right? And then 500 goes back into the market on another day, 3 days later. This is, to me, Wall Street controlling where the market is and keeping the prices level. Meaning, if there's a big buy order, Wall Street can sell into that buy order so the price doesn't just skyrocket. And if there's a big sell order, Wall Street can buy it to keep the price from dropping significantly. That's what it appears to be, because these are huge moves, right? And you can see this on Farside Investors website or on their X page, their Twitter page. We don't see as much volatility in the Ethereum space, but we don't really see a lot of buying in the Ethereum space compared to the Bitcoin space with the ETFs. So what's next for this channel? Well, listen, guys, I don't think that we're going to go back to daily videos on this channel. It is a lot of work to do. Not a lot changes from day to day in the markets anyway. But you guys let me know, like, do you want to go back to full once a day videos, once every other day, once a week? Let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We lost a lot of subscribers over the last year. I'm guessing a lot of bot accounts got closed down and all that, but we really have spent so much time studying the markets that I think it was kind of good to kind of take a step back and look at this market from the outside, not looking at it every single day and talking about it every single day. Don't get it twisted. Like, definitely researched and was following what was happening in the markets on a daily basis. But actually going to a recording and videos, that's not what I was doing for the last year or so. But I do want to know it from you guys. Like, what do you guys want to see? What do you want to hear? What kind of content do you want to see on the channel? We're really going to be focusing on really high level what's going on in the markets. We're not really going to kind of deep dive into what does this coin do? What does this blockchain do? Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter when you have the regulatory environment becoming eased, a lot of companies looking to invest in not just invest, but integrate blockchain and crypto into their businesses. These are the important things in the usage of these blockchains. And so as we enter this final phase of the bull run, we're going to be focusing on a lot of the technicals versus the fundamentals. But the fundamentals are important to keep an eye on as well, because while everybody's saying, oh, well, Ethereum's never going to recover, it's never going to hit an all-time high again, it's like Ethereum is still the number 2 crypto. Solana hasn't really even come close to it. There's nothing really built within Solana that would outdo Ethereum. And remember, Solana, the blockchain has gone down many times in the previous, where Ethereum has basically flawlessly operated. And so this is maybe the first major competitor to Ethereum, Solana being. But there's so many things changing in the environment. And again, going back to the Trumps are buying massive quantities of Ethereum, it should tell you that what you may be hearing in the narrative of Ethereum's done, it's over, there's no possible way World Liberty Finance would be buying this much Ethereum if Ethereum was over. They're not buying Solana, they're buying Ethereum. And so all of the people who've been craving Ethereum, remember, Ethereum barely passed its previous all-time high, $250. So most people, I don't think, have sold just yet. But when you hit $500, $600, $700 Solana, they are going to be selling. And if you're buying at that point, I don't know what to tell you, right? So let me know what you guys think. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you again when I see you again. Crypto on.